Hi everyone, I'm Margarita Muradova, a personal stylist and fashion consultant from Kyiv, Ukraine, and in today's video we're going to talk about a very hot topic, literally hot topic, the hottest trendy summer wedding guest dresses. This is everything that everyone is thinking about at the moment. When I enter TikTok world, this is everything that people are talking about. They're selecting their wedding guest dresses. This is basically like a wedding season, which for me makes total sense. I'm a summer baby, first of all. It was my birthday a couple days ago, 5th of July. So I totally understand the whole thing about having a summer party, which is the best, honestly. And I totally understand why people select specifically summer as their wedding time. So it's the prime time for a wedding, which means there's a lot of people attending a lot. And by a lot, I mean more than 10 sometimes weddings for this season. So I totally get the idea of selecting your perfect summer wedding dresses, summer wedding guest dresses. Let's specify this. But also there's a lot of stigma and myths around summer wedding guest dresses, and also wedding guest dresses, dress codes, what to wear, what to avoid. There's a lot of that stuff going around about like not wearing white and things that are prints on the white background. So a lot of things we need to talk about, and I'll show you first of all types of summer wedding guest dresses that I suggest you could go for, but also specific examples of these types. And all of these things are very, very trendy at the moment, so you're going to be totally on trend with everything that's going on in fashion, but also you're going to be comfortable and you're going to be working with the dress code that you are allotted. And let me just say that a lot of weddings actually specify some colorways, palettes, maybe types of dresses. So there are some weddings where the wedding guest gets an invitation and also they get kind of a mood board of things, which is basically like the aesthetic for this wedding. So maybe very beachy, or maybe hippie, or rustic, or whatever it is, or chic, glamorous. And also they get a color palette to select from for their attire, so maybe some neutral tones, or there are a lot of weddings that go for pastels. And there are some weddings that have a total white dress code, which means you do the one thing that everyone is avoiding at all costs. You're wearing white, just like the bride. And some weddings actually have this on their dress code list. So some weddings are white only weddings, and it's totally okay. But most of the time, I'd say 99.9% of the time, I'd suggest avoiding white at all costs for a wedding. Even if you have like white or cream on the inspiration board, I'd say that this is more like an inspiration and aesthetic and less of a guide of the color that you need to wear. Go for creams or cream color, different colors. So like creamy, lemony shade, creamy, muted pastel pink shade, whatever it is. If something is unclear for you, there's always a way to specify this with the bride or with the groom or with their family or with the wedding planner. There's always someone in charge. You can ask this, and always make sure to specify whatever you need about the dress code. And let's just say that for most of these things, I'd suggest avoiding white and cream. Let's go for other colors. There's a lot of colors and prints that you could go for. They're so beautiful. And there was like a very cool TikTok that I've seen recently about saying that like, please stop wearing reformation for wedding guests, because it's absolutely everywhere, especially if you're from America, so United States and Canada as well. There's a lot of people going for reformation as the kind of wedding guest dress destination, and basically you end up with the same people wearing the same thing, literally people wearing the same dress over and over again at the same wedding. So there's a lot of brands to choose from, and my selection for today not only is trendy, but it also has a lot of variety of brands and budget segments. So you can always go with your budget, and you can always find something that's beautiful within your budget. Trust me, even in secondhand, even in vintage, there's a lot of options that are so beautiful and also so unique, which is very, very important to me personally when I'm dressing my client as a wedding guest, which is really important to dress them First of all, according to their personality and their personal style, but also to their budget and to how they feel, and for them to feel unique in this particular outfit. So without further ado, because there was a lot of ado up to this point, let's start with this video. The first one is definitely a Bandeau dress. A Bandeau dress, very trendy, very beautiful, looks absolutely amazing with some tan on. If you have some tan, it's just gonna be so glowy, so beautiful. It's strapless basically. It holds itself because it sometimes has like a corsety type of thing that's sewn into the dress, or it has a very thick band that kind of holds everything together. Bandeau dresses are very in at the moment. There's so many of them, and always go for prints, obviously, unless stated otherwise in the invitation or the mood board. You can always go for prints, not only for like simple colors or bold colors. Always go for florals. This is a safe option. Some pastel shades, something that's like more as a watercolor print, something that's not very crazy in your face. You can always go for like the safest, classiest prints like polka dots, stripes, obviously pastel, different shades of flowers, floral prints, whatever it is, always go for that. But also you can always incorporate into each and every dress that I'm mentioning over here, you can always incorporate something that's called texture, which is a beautiful thing. So your dress does not necessarily have to be very like silky, satiny. It doesn't have to be very like same material. It could be kind of consisting of different materials and different textures, so something that's like tweedy or something that's crepe, or maybe there's voluminous shapes on the dress that can make it stand out, or maybe like a flower kind of applique on the dress, which is a very trendy thing as well. So always try to incorporate these things in there. And a Bandeau dress, the best option to go for is a midi or a maxi Bandeau dress. I wouldn't go for a knee length or like a mini dress for a wedding per se most of the time. I suggest going for midi lengths and maxi lengths because that's usually the vibe. Unless it's a very casual wedding, it's in a club or elsewhere, I'd go for this kind of a length in order to, first of all, kind of make a full-on experience out of this, because it's going to be a full-on gown at this point, which is absolutely beautiful. It's going to look beautiful in pictures. And this is usually the safest way to go in terms of a length of a dress. Then we have a beautiful, very trendy, very in at the moment, a ruffled dress that's very kind of, I'd say, Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City inspired, asymmetric, pastel, neutral colors, bright colors, prints, textures, everything's in there. And I love it because it's so feminine, it's so flowy, it's very summer, it's cream summer to me. And paired with some statement heels, it's going to be such a beautiful outfit for you. It's going to be very memorable. It's also going to be very easy to move around in, especially if you're going to dance all night after the whole ceremony. It's going to be a beautiful transitional outfit that's going to work for the ceremony, but it's also going to work out of it when you're going to be dancing, moving around, etc. Beautiful, very trendy. In terms of accessories, I'd go, for example, for a clutch, or, hear me out, a baguette bag. Very Carrie style, very workable, practical, fits everything, like touching up your makeup and stuff. Everything is going to fit in there, and it's going to look so beautiful. It's going to be very 2000 style, which is very in at the moment. Then the next thing is very timeless to me personally. This is definitely one of my favorites. This is a silky, satiny, vintage style midi or maxi slip lingerie type dress, with some bows maybe, with some pastel colors, with some satin finishes, with some attachments there, with beautiful shapes and shades of like pastel pinks, creams, whatever it is in there. It's also going to be so beautiful if it has a bit of a lace in there, because it's going to be very feminine in that sense. And this kind of a dress is absolutely timeless, and it's going to be able to serve you time and time again for the wedding and also some parties, whatever it is, because it's just so essentially timelessly feminine, beautiful, flowy. It screams beauty to me personally, and to me this is very appropriate for a summer wedding guest attire. paired with a clutch and a heel. Also for the nighttime, which could get a bit chilly, you can wear a bolero type cardigan or some kind of a scarf over it, or just a simple kind of a shorter version cropped cardigan. It's gonna look so beautiful paired with a specific dress. And it's just a timeless piece of clothing you can keep for your whole life and also pass on to your children, especially. And in terms of being unique, this is the perfect item because you can actually find it vintage. So no one's definitely gonna be kind of wearing the same thing for sure. And I know this is the usual practice for people to wear something that's very body hugging and body contouring, body con, but to me, actually, it sounds very joyous and beautiful to wear something that holds its shape, something that's structured and voluminous. And in that regard, I feel like voluminous, structured, beautiful, oversized dresses are the way to go. They can be colored like yellow, pink, they can be patterned, there could be a lot of prints and textures. For example, there's Cecile Pouncin dresses, there's different dresses by Bernadette Antwerp, which is a beautiful, very feminine brand that does a lot of all of these like structured and voluminous gowns, literally gowns. Those could be worn, first of all, to an event. Those could be worn anywhere, and as a wedding guest, you're gonna definitely make an impression, and it's gonna look so elegant, so chic. And because most of these are maxi dresses, and maxi dresses are the way to go, honestly, if you want to make an impression, you can pair them with no heels at all, which is very useful and practical, especially if you have a summer lawn or beach wedding where heels are a no-go for sure, and you do not want to ruin your whole outfit's vibe. This is the way to go because your feet are gonna be covered, so you can literally wear sneakers if you want to, but I'd go for like ballet flats, Mary Janes, whatever it is, or maybe like some small kitten heels that are not gonna stand in your way. But otherwise, it's gonna look so beautiful. It's gonna be a statement on its own, and maybe paired with some beautiful textured clutch. And in terms of a clutch and a bag, I'd usually go for something that has a different material and texture to your whole outfit in order to make a bigger of a statement, but also to kind of finish up your look and make it more 3D. Next thing, this one I definitely mentioned previously. This is a very trendy thing at the moment, flower appliques everywhere. Let's say roses, rosebuds, camellias, everything that has to do with flowers in terms of like a 3D applique thing. Also very Carrie Bradshaw style, but in a more minimalistic way. This is gonna look so beautiful, very feminine. There's a lot of options in different budget segments, so you can always find something for different budgets. For each and every budget actually you're working with, you can always find something out of all of these trends, because most of these have been here previously. So all of these, or most of these, are definitely gonna be in there in a vintage clothing store or in a secondhand, so you can definitely find them everywhere. And in terms of a flower applique, at this point I feel like they're a bit overdone, but if it's not like a total flower applique dress, if there's one flower in there, if it's very like nice and beautiful and sophisticated, it can still look original and beautiful, and you could look original as a wedding guest as well. Second to last thing that's gonna be more risque in terms of like a wedding guest, but it's gonna like create such a beautiful lasting impression on everyone, I feel like, especially if it fits the whole dress code of the wedding, is a hooded dress. And the inspiration behind this dress for this season is definitely Saint Laurent catwalks. Hooded dresses are so beautiful. They're minimalistic, but up to a point. They have this very like statuesque shape to them, and I feel like it's so easy to style them with different accessories and shoes and everything and jewelry, and they're gonna look understated yet chic and beautiful and sophisticated. And as a wedding guest, you can always put the hood down. It could just create a bit of a texture and volume up top, and it's gonna look beautiful in the photos. You're not gonna stand out too much out of all the wedding guests, but it's gonna just, you know, make an impression. And I feel like this is what we're here to do in terms of selecting an outfit, right? And the last but not least thing over here is metallics. Let me say just this. This is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, and also for some wedding dresses, this is not a color palette selection or style or aesthetic, but if not stated otherwise, this could definitely be a beautiful option for a wedding guest dress because it's not a color per se, it's not a print, but it still looks more finished, more beautiful, sophisticated, elegant, a bit futuristic, and a bit disco. And for example, if you're a wedding guest and this wedding theme is disco or something around that, this is definitely the way to go. If your wedding's theme is futuristic or somewhere around that corner, this is the way to go. And also metallics are still kind of minimalistic, so even minimalists can wear metallics as a wedding guest dress for sure. Let's go for something body hugging, or as opposed to that, something very voluminous, structured, with, I'd say, a bold colored clutch as a point of view, as a point of kind of reference for the whole outfit. And I feel like it's gonna look so unexpected, yet appropriate, beautiful, and chic. And this is it for this video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these wedding guest dress options is your style, which one of them is definitely not. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.